This is Chris from Rekkid Talk with another episode of ranking some of the, and we'll be ranking some of the Finnish rock and punk bands this week. Much of it as provided to me by mixtapes that were sent to me by a real Finnish person, Tommy's Vinyl Knot. So most of what I'll be showing you comes from Finnish hammer hits, and so side A concentrated mostly on psych and rock from 1984 through 2022. Side B being a hardcore punk from 80 through 2022. And so let's, first of all, let's set some ground rules. There'll be no Finnish stereotypes in this episode, so I'm not going to make any jokes about saunas. I'm not going to show any clips of Tina Lilac throwing a javelin. I'm not going to talk about Finnish people being weird introverts that play bizarre sports like wife carrying and baseball on acid, pesäpallo. All of my pronunciations of Finnish words will likely be wrong. And so we're going to use sort of the bottoms, tops, wildcard format again. I want to state that the bottoms really aren't bottoms because, I mean, obviously the songs and the bands that Tommy provided to me on the tape, pretty carefully curated, so there's not anything really bad. Plus, I'm really worried about if I say, oh, I don't like such and such song, and it turns out the people in the band are like Tommy's friends. So even the bottoms are good. It's just of the groups that were provided. And so you generally have longer songs on side A, which was the rock and psych side. Side B, lots of groups, lots of songs. The hardcore side, where of course the songs tend to be very short. And I'll link it at the very end in the description box. I actually made a playlist of everything that Tommy provided for me here. So I found the song on YouTube. Sometimes I only found like the entire album or the entire EP. And so in that case, that's what got linked. So you could check some of this stuff out as well. So basically, my bottom on the rock and psych side was a song by Kiss Disease called Grown Up Fucks, because I don't like expletives in song titles. Okay, no, that's not really the reason. So this song has kind of high-pitched singing. It's in English, but it's still hard to understand. Kind of a straightforward, punky sounding stuff. Then a bit of a metally solo towards the end. And so not my favorite. And then on the punk side, I'm gonna the song by Katarina called Daddy O. So Katarina's a crazy girl. It sounds like they wrote the song 5 minutes before recording it and hadn't actually practiced it yet. The song has a bit of a Dickless vibe. And so if you don't know who Dickless is, that was a group that put out a single on Sub Pop called Saddle Tramp. I think they had a couple other songs. They weren't really a group, but it was kind of an amateur band, all female, thus the name Dickless, where it was very lo-fi, punkish sort of music. Oh, and on the Katarina song, Daddy-O, the guitar player kind of plays a kind of solo, kind of. All right, well, let's get into some wild cards. So, of course, we have our 1/10 of a euro special, this disco action cassette single with Pavi, with Linglankuta, and Aini with Yes Sir Alkala Poita, which I think basically means yes sir, let's boogie. And so, very special limited edition here. And so, basically, the Paiva song had kind of a classic disco song with strings and a dance beat. I found her singing to be a bit clumsy and stiff, and she's definitely not a soul singer. She's not making me forget about Donna Summer. Aini with Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, Alka Poita. She has a sultrier voice than Paivi, almost a bit Latin sounding. Very disco-y music, of course, a bit of funky bass, almost hidden in the cheesiness, and a tiny funky guitar riff at the very end. That was the better of the songs on the disco cassette single for me. And also in terms of wild cards, we have some Finnish music that I've actually bought. So we have Talvit Cadet. We know Tommy loves Talvit Cadet. They're probably the most well-known of the Finnish punk bands. So TK Pop 1980 through 1989 is a 2 CD compilation of basically all their singles and EPs and stuff off of compilations. Tons of value for the money because you get tons and tons of songs. I think between the two discs, I think there's over 110 songs available for you. You're not going to get that from Prague. And my other wild card, this was something that Tommy has featured on some of his videos. So this is something that just came out. There was actually an American distributor that has this. It was called like Grave End Records or something like that. I'll try to link them up. I'm not remembering their name, and I didn't think to write it down. Latikali with Punk Lak Pamas. And so this is DIY Punk. And so you can connect the dots and make his mohawk. And all kinds of stuff to read in Finnish. And I don't know what any of it means, but it's pretty fun, sort of jaunty sounding punk. So Tikali. All right, well, now let's get into my tops. So my tops from the rock psych side, I'm going to do 2 tops from the rock psych side and 2 tops from the hardcore side. So the first one would be the group Texty TV 666. Texty TV 666 with that song Pili Torlita Talvaninin. The beginning of the song is reminding me of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard along the Psych Jam incoming. I think, is this going to be completely instrumental? And then about 2.5 minutes in, it changes, it speeds up, you get some vaguely new wavy keyboards. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets space rocky then. Is this band all over the place stylistically, sort of like King Gizzard on their albums? I wouldn't really be surprised if they were. You get some barely discernible lyrics about 4 minutes in to the song. Pretty cool. The singing really just kind of is part of the music. It's not, the words aren't really all that important. And that was my probably my favorite from the rock psych side. And the other one I really liked was the group Kingston Wall with I Feel Love, which is a cover of the Donna Summer disco classic. So yes, that's the second mention of Donna Summer so far. And so I think they're making it a bit more psyche. The guitar player is laying down this riff like Wadi Waktel from that Edge of 17 song by Stevie Nicks, just playing the same riff, the same part over and over and over like a total pro, but it's not boring at all. And then they get heavier with it, and it's great. And that guitar alone makes up for the lack of Donna Summer moaning orgasmically. And then on the punk rock side, so side B, so Appendix was pretty good. That'd probably be, the first song would be my number 3. Not really counting Talvit Cadet because I've already showed their record, but I really liked Chaos. Kaos with Odatan Melaman Lopruploa. The song actually has a modicum of production values, a bit more polished than most of the other stuff on the hardcore side. It sounds like these guys were a few albums into their career. It's even got a beat and you can dance to it, Dick. That's a whole Dick Clark American Bandstand joke. There's even a hint of a melody, and the song's almost 3 minutes long. It's almost like it's prog punk. I think it was the longest song on the hardcore side. And then my other top from the punk side would be Kovarasva with their song Ja Pita Man. There's lots of double A's in Finnish. Again, it's another thing that's relatively polished. I think these punks also like sort of their traditional old school heavy metal. Feels like they could have gotten even more epic than the minute and a half this song was. So again, I think the Kova Lasva and the Chaos, and then probably my third choice from the punk side Again, not counting Turvik Cadet because they're on a pedestal for Finnish punk. But Appendix was also pretty good. And so thanks to Tommy's Vinyl Knot for introducing me to all this stuff. And again, I'm going to put up, I made a playlist of it that's going to pop up here on my screen, will be in the description box. And again, notice I didn't use any Finnish stereotypes at all in this episode.